If you have spent years hearing people tell you that you are moody, dramatic, or too intense, and you have secretly wondered if there is something more going on, you are in the right place. Maybe you have looked up the symptoms of bipolar disorder before, but you stopped because you thought, well, I don't stay up for a week straight, or I'm not hallucinating. So you went back to thinking, maybe you just need to try harder, meditate more, or fix your diet. But what if you are tracking the wrong clues? In this video, I am going to show you why looking for mood swings often leads to a dead end. Instead, I'm going to teach you to look for clusters. We are going to unpack the 3 specific signals: sleep shifts, the fast-forward brain, and stacked plans, that are the actual hallmarks of undiagnosed bipolar disorder. By the end, I will give you a 2-minute tracking method and a specific script you can take to a doctor to finally get a clear answer. I'm Clara, your guide at Bipolar Clarity. Let's take a deep breath and look at the pattern underneath the mood. Before we dive into the clues, I need to remind you that I am a passionate educator and an advocate, but I am not a doctor. This video is for educational purposes and is not medical advice. If you recognize these patterns in yourself, your next step is to take this information to a qualified professional. Let's start with the why. Why is bipolar disorder so often missed, sometimes for 10 years or more? It is because we have been taught to look for moodiness. Moodiness is weather. It changes hourly. You get a parking ticket, you are mad. You get a free coffee, you are happy. Everyone has weather. Bipolar disorder is not weather. It is a climate change. It is a biological shift in your internal engine that lasts for days, weeks, or months. When this shift happens, it doesn't just change your emotion, it changes your physiology. It changes how you sleep, how you move, how you speak, and how you perceive time. We call these groups of changes clusters. If you just have a bad day, that is a mood. If you have 4 days where you don't sleep, you talk fast, and you spend $500 on a new hobby, that is a cluster. And clusters are what clinicians use to diagnose. Let's look at clue number 1, the sleep shift. This is the single most important signal, and yet it is the one most people explain away. In a neurotypical brain, if you stay up until 2 in the morning, the next day you are exhausted. You are dragging. You need coffee. In the beginning stages of a bipolar up episode, which we call hypomania, the rules of biology seem to break. You might sleep 4 hours or 3 hours. But when your alarm goes off, you don't just wake up, you pop up, you feel wired, you feel efficient. You might think, wow, my new diet is really working, or finally I have my life together. This is not insomnia. Insomnia is wanting to sleep, but being unable to. This is a decreased need for sleep. Your battery is charging to 100% in half the time. On the flip side, during a down cluster, you might sleep 10, 12, or 14 hours and still wake up feeling like you have been hit by a truck. If you notice that your sleep pattern breaks, not just for one night, but for 3 or 4 nights in a row, and your energy does not match the amount of rest you got, that is a biological red flag. Clue number 2, the fast-forward brain. On the flip side, during a down cluster, you might sleep 10, 12, or 14 hours and still wake up feeling like you have been hit by a truck. If you notice that your sleep pattern breaks, not just for one night, but for 3 or 4 nights in a row, and your energy does not match the amount of rest you got, that is a biological red flag. Clue number 2, the fast-forward brain. We often call this pressured speech or racing thoughts. Have you ever listened to a podcast on 2 times speed? That is what the world sounds like to a neurotypical person. But when you are in an up cluster, you are the one on 2 times speed, and everyone else sounds like they are moving in slow motion. You might find yourself interrupting people, Not because you are rude, but because you have already finished their sentence in your head, and you are 3 paragraphs ahead. You might feel a physical pressure in your chest to get the words out. Friends might say, "Whoa, slow down, I can't keep up," or they might just laugh and say, "You are on fire today." Later, when the energy drops, you might look back at those conversations and feel embarrassed, wondering, why did I say all that? This isn't just being chatty. It is a change in the velocity of your thought processing. Clue number 3, stacked plans. Clinicians call this increase in goal-directed activity. I call it the browser tab syndrome. In a normal week, you might have 1 or 2 big goals. Clean the garage, finish a report. In an up cluster, your ambition explodes. Suddenly, at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, you decide to reorganize your entire kitchen by color. Then you decide to start an Etsy shop. Then you decide to train for a marathon, and you start all of them at once. The feeling inside is, I have to do this now. There is a sense of urgency. The plans feel brilliant and crystal clear. The problem is you rarely finish them. You start 10 things, the energy crashes, and you are left with a messy kitchen, a half-built website, and a lot of shame. If you have a history of starting big and crashing hard, that is not a willpower failure. That is a cluster. Now, let's talk about the downside. Because if you have undiagnosed bipolar disorder, you probably know the depression side very well, but you might be calling it laziness or burnout. Bipolar depression has a specific physical quality. People often describe it as leaden paralysis. Your limbs feel heavy. Getting into the shower feels like climbing Mount Everest. It is not just that you are sad, it is that you have powered down. Your brain feels like it is moving through wet cement. You lose interest in the things you usually love. I want to introduce a concept here called mixed features. This is the most confusing state, and often the reason people don't get diagnosed. You might think, I can't be bipolar because I never feel happy. I'm just anxious and agitated. It is possible to have the high energy of bipolar disorder mixed with the low mood of depression. You feel wired, you can't sleep, your thoughts are racing, you are irritable, but you feel miserable. You feel hopeless. We call this tired but wired. It is dangerous because you have the darkness of depression combined with the energy to act on impulse. I want to pause here for a serious safety note. Mixed states are high risk. If you are feeling that agitation, like your skin is crawling, and you are having thoughts of hurting yourself or ending your life, that is a medical emergency. In the US and Canada, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Please do not try to white-knuckle a mixed episode alone. It is a storm, and you deserve shelter. Now, let's pivot to the practical. How do you track this without getting overwhelmed? Most people try to write a diary. They write pages about their feelings. I felt angry because my boss said X. That helps with therapy, but it doesn't help with diagnosis. I want you to use the 2-minute cluster tracker. You are going to track 3 variables every morning. 1. Sleep window. When did you sleep? When did you wake? 2. Energy score. On a scale of 1 to 10. 3. The speed check. The speed check is a simple yes or no. Did I talk faster than usual? Did I feel the urge to do 10 things at once? Did I spend money impulsively? If you track this for 2 weeks, look for the pattern. If you see 3 days in a row where sleep went down, energy went up, and speed was yes, you have caught a cluster. If you are worried you will forget these signs by tomorrow, you can join the Bipolar Clarity newsletter. I send out one plain English guide or tool just like this every week so you can learn at your own pace without feeling overwhelmed. It is free, and the link is in the description. Now, how do you talk to a doctor about this? This is where many people get dismissed. They go in and say, "I think I'm bipolar." The doctor might think you are self-diagnosing from TikTok. Instead, bring the data. Speak the language of clusters. Here is a script you can use. You can literally read this to them. "Doctor, I have been tracking my health for the last month. I noticed a pattern where for 4 days in a row, I slept only 4 hours a night, but I didn't feel tired. During those days, my partner said I was talking too fast to follow, and I spent $500 on a project I haven't touched since. Then I crashed and slept for 12 hours a day for a week. Can we discuss what might be causing these clusters?" When you present duration, 4 days, symptoms, no sleep, fast talk, and impact, spending, crash, you are giving the clinician exactly what they need to help you. Let's look at how this applies to your daily life right now, even before a diagnosis. In your work, if you recognize the fast-forward brain, stop trusting your late-night bursts of productivity. You might think, "I do my best work at 2 a.m., but usually, you are borrowing energy from tomorrow. When you feel that urge to send 50 emails at midnight, institute a drafts rule. Write the emails. Save them to drafts. Do not send them. Read them in the morning. You might find they are brilliant, or you might find they are chaotic, aggressive, or confusing. The morning you is a better judge than the midnight you. In your relationships, the irritability factor is huge here. When you are in a mild-up state, you might not feel happy, you might feel efficient, and everyone else feels slow. You might find yourself snapping at your partner for chewing too loudly or walking too slowly. If you notice this, say out loud, "My sensory system is running hot today. I'm not mad at you. I just need to turn down the volume of the world." Take a 10-minute break in a dark, quiet room. It resets the sensory overload. Quick myth. Check. If I am bipolar, doesn't that mean I'm crazy? No, it means you have a sensitive circadian system. Think of it like diabetes. A diabetic has a pancreas that struggles to regulate sugar. You have a brain that struggles to regulate energy. You wouldn't judge a diabetic for needing insulin. Do not judge yourself for needing tools to manage your energy. I want to challenge a curiosity gap here. Most people think that if they get a diagnosis, they will lose their spark. They worry the medication will make them boring. The reality is usually the opposite. The spark you feel during those chaotic highs often burns down your life. It leaves ash. Stability isn't about becoming a robot. It is about clearing away the ash so your actual creativity, your actual personality, and your actual intelligence can shine without burning you out. Let's do a micro recap of the clues we are tracking. We are stopping the focus on why am I so moody today? We are starting to look for the clusters. 1. Sleep shift. Less need for sleep or sleeping all day. 2. Speed, racing thoughts, fast talk, interruption. 3. Stacked plans, starting everything, finishing nothing, and we are watching for the mixed state, the tired but wired danger zone. Here is your homework for this week. I want you to pick one anchor. Don't try to fix your whole life, just fix your wake-up time. Set an alarm for the same time every day for 7 days. Why? Because irregularity feeds the bipolar engine. If you anchor your wake time, you might make the clues easier to see and start your 2-minute cluster tracker. Just a note in your phone. Sleep, energy, speed. You are not broken. You are just solving a mystery without all the clues. Now you have the clues. If this video helped you make sense of your own history, please subscribe. We are building a library of practical, plain English guides to help you navigate the mental health system. For your next step, I highly recommend you watch the video appearing on your right. It is called Is It Bipolar, Not Just Depression? 7 Hidden Signs. It goes even deeper into the subtle signals that separate these two conditions. Thanks for watching, and remember, the pattern is the key.